It's a warm welcome here in our studio in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Dado Cham. In the headlines tonight, President Barrow expressed his profound condolence to the family of late Imam Barham Job. One new death of COVID-19 recorded as number of cases escalate by 20 newly confirmed cases. Charity Foundation in UK donates rain boots and bags to school-going children in Talinding. COVID-19 hits Gambians' arts industry hard. Staffs of Kairaba Beach Hotel demand answers from authorities for their unpaid salary as their general manager is on the run. On the international scene, Trump said Americans should wear masks whether they like them or not. Global COVID-19 cases could be 12 times higher than reported. Israel, many protests a PM handling of pandemic economic crisis. Those were the headlines and now the news in details. His Excellency President Adama Barrow has received the sad news of the dismissal of Imam Barham Job of Serekunda, which occurred yesterday, 21st July 2020. On behalf of his government and the people of the Gambia, President Barrow expresses his profound condolence to the family of the erudite scholar and religious leader, late Imam Alhaji Barham Job. Imam Job spent his life spreading and teaching Islam, reconciling families and promoting peace and social cohesion. The Imam was laid to rest in Banjul today morning. The President prays that Allah grant his soul external peace and more generative filters in his abundance. The message ends. One new death recorded, bringing to 5 the total number of COVID-19 related deaths reported so far. This represents a crude case fatality rate of 3.8%, 20 new cases registered, the highest reported in a single day, bringing to 132 the total number of COVID-19 cases ever confirmed in the country. 8 of the newly confirmed cases are healthcare workers, 6 from Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, 1 from Medicare, and another from WHO. The source and the chain of infection of over 80% of the new cases could not be established, which is evidence of a perceived community transmission. One of the cases who absconded was found and taken to a treatment center. 153 new laboratory test results received from MRCG, while 13 persons were newly taken into quarantine. 3 have been discharged. The country currently has 639 people in quarantine, 64 active cases, 5 probable cases, and a crude case fatality rate of 3.8%. The update ends. Charity organization from UK, in collaboration with the Councillor of Talinding South Ward Development Committee, donate rain boots and bags to help young children in Talinding. Hadijaju was at the scene and she now reports.
According to the Councillor of Talinding South Ward Development Committee, Karamosise, they came up with the initiative to help young children, especially school-going children who suffer a lot going to school in the rainy season. He further said that some schools are open during the rainy season and the total number of rain boots to be given to the children is about 700 rain boots. He declared that they expect more of these items by the end of the month. Nearly 3,000 rain boots are expected to be received by the community of Talinding.
All knows we are in a rainy season, and then schools, some of the schools are open during this rainy season, and then these rain boots too, they are going with a school bag. They are waterproof school bags, and then we do this thing purposely to complement the effort of our electorates, because if you check Talinding here, we have like a younger population. The number of kids that are going to school here is approximately over 5,000 kids that are within the entire Talinding here. So it is indeed a honor with the support of our charity, Ibu Malak Charitable Foundation, to present these rain boots on behalf of the people of Talinding.
He further thanked Ibu Mala's Charity Foundation for their support in helping the children of Talinding during this hard trial time. Sambaba, speaking on behalf of Ibu Mala's Charity Foundation, said that the foundation is a voluntary association and they provide assistance to vulnerable children. He noted that they are very pleased to associate with the people of Talinding. Mr. Ba further explained that they are not only going to help the children of Talinding, but will also go as far as Central River Region to help the children who are in need of their support.
Those is children. Looking at the nature of Talinding and its surrounding communities, we think it is very necessary to support children with these rain boots to ease their school-going activities and also provide them with a waterproof school bag so that their books will not get wet. So earlier this year, we gathered in this same hall to distribute about a 40 feet full of items. That is what about $300,000 that was distributed. And we'll continue working with the community of Talinding. This is just the beginning.
Bintu Bojang also thanked Ibumara's Charity Foundation for the immense support and the Councillor of Talinding, who also made the items available to the children of Talinding. Talinding is a community that normally suffers during the rainy season. We always experience flooding in our areas, and these items are going to be given to children who are much in need of this support, she said. In conclusion, she said that they will start distributing the rain boots and school bags to children who are around the riverside because they suffer a lot whenever it rains. She further clarified that they are not the only people who will benefit from this gesture. She further mentioned that the items are not for sale as people are saying, but to help the needy children. Hadi Jaju, reporting for Star TV News.
Members of the Gambian music scene cry over the negative impact of COVID-19 as it has hampered their livelihood. However, the laying-down COVID-19 measures, which include abstinence from a public gathering, have halted the music sector from its activities. Our Sani has more on that story.
The Gambian artists generate their daily earnings from musical performances, which attract many people. But since the advent of the coronavirus, the music scene has been subjected to a closure, which has made life difficult to those in the sector. However, the King of Kora, Mr. Jaliba Kuyate, said that this pandemic has a great impact on them because quite a number of them are just sitting doing nothing. And this is the only job they depend on to survive. According to him, some musicians may collapse completely due to this pandemic.
We even had a conference at the it was an online one headed by the National Council for Arts and Culture. Some donor agencies were present. For example, UNESCO representative from Dakar, from all the other sectors of arts. You know, we are on the performing arts, fine arts, several sections as artists. So we were dormant. We were not doing anything. All programs were cancelled. Contracts that were even paid for, some people came back to claim what they paid because there was no room for programs.
He also added on saying that the role of artists is to push the country to go further by performing and singing good songs. Next to speak was Sheikh Omar Yafa, popularly known as Sihu Yafa. He urges the government to provide more for the less fortunate because in a time like this, all that most artists can do is to provide face masks, buckets, and to display the safety precautionary measures so that people can be aware of the virus.
Okay, this year I've heard so many plans. I was supposed to release my album this year, and I was supposed to have a nationwide tour and also few other events every week. But then because of this coronavirus, I had to stop everything. I had to post and it's affecting me. But nevertheless, I've been working more on, it gave me more studio time.
Umi Job, who is also called Miss Jobis, disclosed that as artists, they need studios and financial support because there are too many talented artists who cannot go further in the music scene due to lack of support. She concluded by pleading to the citizens to protect themselves and believe that the virus exists because good health matters for an individual. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasane.
A press conference was held at the Kairaba Beach Hotel as its staffs were demanding for their salaries. They are pleading with the government to come to their aid as their general manager is on the run after refusing to pay other staffs. Mariam Majabi reports.
Mr. Ben Bodang, the PRO of the Kairaba and Coral Beach Hotel, which are two joint hotels, said under the management of Mr. Hadi bin Isa, who is the general manager, he has refused to pay his staffs after signing a 3-year contract which was to be due in the end of October. Mr. Ben Bojang, the PRO of the two joint hotels, had this to say.
And these points, we need some clarifications and help from the government. Who are we answerable to? As our manager is not staying in the hotel, we are not answerable to anybody. This is what we want to know. Number 2, who is going to be responsible for the 2 hotels? We were having a manager, but he's not staying in the hotel, as I said, and who is going to be responsible of the 2 hotels? As I am speaking at now, we are at work. We used to come to work, but the GM of the hotel is not residing in the hotel anymore. We are not going to be paid, as he said. He's not going to pay us anymore. And we are working. So the authorities...
Staffs of Kairaba Beach Hotel are seeking the government's intervention, such as the Gambia Tourism Board, the Labour Department, Ministry of Justice, and the Ministry of External Affairs. As Tobaski is fast approaching, they have no other means of earning money other than their salaries. He also added that they have nowhere to lodge complaints, as the HR, Aminata Senghor, of the hotel is currently around and not willing to answer questions.
That my comment for this. The general manager is in the country. You have no clue. Why am I you are like a shooting at any? Who make any food for them or any? You like it. A lynch of young and prove of them. You are like I am digging on resources, but I cannot.
Yes, this is why we came here.
Even general manager. You can come to the general manager.
No, so you can go free. You general manager is going to say on another.
This means that they have nowhere to voice out the difficulties they're encountering, as the manager is on the run and the HR is avoiding listening or saying anything. This is why they call on the government to help them, as their families depend on them for survival. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Mariama Jabi.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with the international news after the short break.
Hello Gambia, your television experience is about to be transformed to the next level. Enjoy amazing features with the new DTT decoder by XCAF. Watch television in high definition and excellent sound quality. Watch Gambian channels such as GRTS, QTV, Star TV, Paradise TV and MTA with one decoder, all for free. That's not all. For a monthly subscription of $510, you get 60 international channels from your favorite football leagues, news, African movies, telenovelas, cartoons and much more. Get the decoder for $2,040, which comes with free installation, 24/7 customer and technical support all year round, and 1 month free subscription for only $510 thereafter. Get the decoder at XCAF Gambia, located at Hendon Court Building, former Dream Park, Senegambia, or through approved dealers. For more info, call 446-1060 or 446-1061. The world is at your fingertips with the XCAF DTD decoder.
Here are 5 ways you can help combat stigma and discrimination as we fight against coronavirus COVID-19. 1. Educate your friends and family that COVID-19 is not specific to any race, nationality, or skin color. 2. Do not associate migrants with the virus. In many contexts, migrants are healthy and key players in nation building. 3. Remind others that discrimination may lead people to hide their symptoms rather than seek treatment. This puts everyone else at risk. 4. Be kind, considerate, and helpful to others in these difficult times. 5. If you know anyone experiencing symptoms, encourage them to dial 1025 for free.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulonding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. GASH, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. GASH Group also provides the best security company, GASH Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. GASH Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact GASH on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at GASH Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH.
And now the news beyond our borders. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned the coronavirus outbreak is likely to get worse before it gets better. It is a marked departure from the optimistic picture he has projected so far. Even as cases continue to rise in many states, Trump was speaking at his newly resumed daily coronavirus briefing, the first since April. He urged the public to wear masks and promise to deliver a vaccine as soon as possible. Al Jazeera Mike Han reports from Washington, D.C.
In the past, President Trump cast himself as America's cheerleader, making rosy predictions about the course of the pandemic that were often at odds with the facts. But this was a more subdued president than on previous occasions.
It will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better. Something I don't like saying about things, but that's the way it is.
And a complete reversal on the use of masks, something that in the first few months of the pandemic the president often derided, at one stage even expressing support for anti-mask protests in a number of states. This too, it seems, a thing of the past.
I have no problem with the masks. I view it this way. Anything that potentially can help, and that certainly can potentially help, is a good thing. I have no problem. I carry it. I wear it. You saw me wearing it a number of times, and I'll continue.
There were some familiar claims that the U.S. is leading the world in testing and that its mortality rate is lower than anywhere, both assertions declared false by most health experts. A little comment about a startling report from the Centers for Disease Control. It says the official figure of some 3.6 million cases of coronavirus in the U.S. is dramatically less than what it now estimates could be as many as 38 million cases. It's not clear whether the president's new embrace of reality rests in a recognition of figures such as these, or whether he's seeking to reverse what are politically damaging polling figures about the public's view of the way he's handled the crisis. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.
The number of coronavirus cases continue to grow around the world. More than 15 people have been now infected globally. What researched at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, say the true death toll could be 12 times higher. Al Jazeera Gabriel Glazondo reports from New York, U.S.
The spread of coronavirus around the world. Over 600,000 lives lost to the pandemic. But researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, often cited as the world's best research university, examined 84 countries and concluded the numbers are likely much higher.
We found that the estimate of the true actual number of COVID-19 cases is approximately 12 times larger than the number of confirmed reported cases. And we found that the number of people who have died of COVID-19 is approximately 50% higher than the number of reported deaths.
To reach their conclusions, researchers used a variation of a standard model of epidemiology and over 4 months calibrated it with country-level data on testing, reported cases, deaths, and overall mortality, and various other data points. The model was able to estimate the percentage of the population of any given country already infected with COVID-19. At the top of the list, Ecuador, with 18% of its population already infected, followed by other Latin American countries, Peru, Chile, and Mexico. Then Iran and Qatar are the most infected per capita in the Middle East, followed by Spain, the US, the UK, and the Netherlands. In early March, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. MIT researchers concluded from their modeling that if all the countries in the world back then ramped up testing, there would be 200,000 fewer deaths today.
Once you lose control, this is a very serious problem. And it's still relevant because although we can't go back and change what happened before, we're now facing exactly the same choices with the new outbreak waves that are taking place in many countries around the world.
While the study conducted by the researchers is highly complex and very technical, their advice on how to help stop the spread of coronavirus is not. They say it simply comes down to social distancing and wearing a mask. Gabriel Zondo, Al Jazeera, New York.
Thousands of Israelis are protesting in West Jerusalem, calling on Prime Minister Benjamin to step down. 34 people were arrested outside Parliament in the latest of several mass demonstrations in the recent weeks. The Prime Minister has come under growing criticism for staying in office while facing trial on corruption charges. He is also being accused of mismanaging the pandemic and the depending economic crisis. Al Jazeera Harry Farset reports from Tel Aviv.
Benjamin Netanyahu has weathered protests before. So-called black flag activists have waged a years-long campaign against what they call his anti-democratic rule. But in the last 2 weeks, the protests have changed and grown as Israelis, buckling under a second wave of coronavirus, turn their anger on the government. Netanyahu has admitted to reopening the economy too quickly, allowing gatherings of too many people. Others point to the government's failure to expand the system of testing and tracing as the first wave ebbed, leaving it ill-equipped to stop the second. Author and journalist Ronan Bergman has investigated that decision-making. He says the health ministry went against expert advice.
You need to know as soon as possible if that person is ill or not. You need to test that person immediately after he is identified as suspicious. So, as a suspect. So if you do not, then the chain of infection, it goes on and you are not able to cut it.
The government itself said it needed a 48-hour turnaround from suspected case to test result. Even now, it's taking 6 to 8 days. The concern now is that it's simply too late in terms of testing to catch up with the sheer scale of this second wave. Israel's missed opportunity on testing and tracing is now being seen as part of a wider political failure to tackle the pandemic. Under pressure, the Prime Minister has been announcing measures only to unannounce them. From a $1.75 billion package of cash handouts, first universal, now means-tested, to an order to close restaurants, postponed within hours, to weekend closures of beaches and pools, reversed within days. The one constant, his insistence on avoiding a second full lockdown.
I've requested each ministry's plan for a safe exit from the coronavirus restrictions, meaning that if we straighten the curve and reach the goals that we set for the determined number of cases per day that we can work with over time in the coronavirus routine.
But the head-spinning policy shifts have undermined belief in a Prime Minister also on trial in 3 separate corruption cases. One survey this month put public trust in him at just 29%.
And the problem that there's really this back and forth that it's not creating trust. And trust is crucial in order to move ahead because it's a long-term situation. When I'm talking about trust, it's both trust of the public and trust of experts.
Just weeks ago, Netanyahu had squashed the first wave of COVID-19 and neutralized his most serious political rival, Benny Gantz, inside an emergency coalition. Now he's fighting to beat down a resurgent virus and restore his diminishing political capital. Harry Fawcett, Al Jazeera, Tel Aviv.
And before we end the news, a quick recap of our main stories. His Excellency President Adama Barrow has received the sad news of the dismissal of Imam Barham Job of Serekunda, which occurred yesterday, 21st July 2020. One new death recorded, bringing to 5 the total number of COVID-19 related deaths reported so far. This represents a good case fatality rate of 3.8%. 20 new cases registered are the highest reported in a single day, bringing to 132 the total number of COVID-19 cases ever confirmed in the country. Charity Foundation in UK donates rain boots and bags to school-going children in Tallinding. COVID-19 hits Gambians' arts industry hard. Staffs of Kairaba Beach Hotel demand answers from authorities for their unpaid salary as their general manager is on the run. On the international scene, Trump said Americans should wear masks whether they like them or not. Global COVID-19 cases could be 12 times higher than reported. That's all for this edition of the news. Please enjoy the rest of our programs and join us for tomorrow's news. Thank you for watching.